Hello and welcome. This is Jensen with Soft Edges, and this is your week ahead reading for the week of February 9th to the 15th, 2026. We got our decks out. We are using this week the Smoke, Ash, and Ember. We are using Thistledown by the same creators, and we are using A Long Way Home. And we have our charms. We have our Ephemeral Calendar, and let's get into it. So I just want to start by saying whatever I put out on this space before I do readings is totally intuitive. I just do whatever the angels say. And on one side, we have this like mirror, this like watery, reflective energy. We have crystals. We have the star, this like hope, this renewal. And the candle, the light, the flame. On this side, we have such a different energy that wanted to come through today. It's just this, this crystal pyramid. There's something to me that speaks to just this gold that's stuck. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that wants to come through this week. We also have the hourglass, and there was an energy of time's up. Time's up, or feeling like time's up, or also because it wanted to lay on its side, there's something around perhaps time moving differently this week. I want you to try to notice that if you want. Just notice how time is moving so differently. Not fast or slow. Notice how it's all of a sudden at a standstill. I'm really curious about that. While I was light weaving, I really saw this, I saw an individual, but I think that represents each one of us. And behind the individual, a cloud, a shadow of darkness. There is some shadowy energy entering this week. We're in the final parts. We're in the final week of the wood snake, this shedding that we've had to do through 2025, because next week on the 17th, we have the Lunar New Year and we move into the fire horse. So this week it's really the final shed, the final culmination of this period. And it's been intense, right? Both in the collective and in our personal lives. So in this vision, I saw this like shadow, like drifting over the land, but here comes the star, here comes the hope. I saw an individual, again, representing us, holding a lamp, holding a flame, and, moving forward. It gave me such hermit energy. I saw the hermit, but each of us as the hermit, of having this inner light, this strength to continue to move forward ahead of the shadow, right? So that felt profound and really interesting to come through today. Just to quickly talk about the astrology that's coming through this week, on Tuesday, the 10th of February, we have Venus moving into Pisces. Venus is said to be exalted or in its highest form in Pisces. So this is good. This is really nice. We love this. On the 12th, we have Mercury conjunct the North Node. That'll be interesting. Something about this energy is giving me, saying something out loud, speaking a truth that you didn't realize were your truth. So pay attention to this date and like what comes up with you, either listening to other people talk, or what you're saying and how close it is to, your truth. On Friday, the 13th, how fitting, Saturn moves into Aries for the next 2.5 to 3 years. This is huge. This is massive astrology. This questioning is really good as well. Again, this is Ephemeral Calendar. I talked about this in a couple of my videos. You can get a link, or you can use code SOFTEDGES33 to get $33 off this tool. And again, I'm going to be a dead horse and say, this is amazing. This was such a good way for me to conceptualize Saturn and Aries and to sit with and think through this time. I have a lot of time to think about this. For instance, the questions to live into was, what do you have in place to help you focus? And if it's not an addiction, could you not do it for a week, a month, a year? So interesting to think about bringing some structure to, or bringing a different lens to the structures in our lives. So like coffee as an addiction, for instance. I could stop, right? So it could be considered an addiction, but it's really this Saturn is putting a different lens on these habits that I have that are potentially addictive. That's just a small example of that. So anyways, that is what's going on this week. Venus entering Pisces, Mercury conjunct the North Node, and Saturn entering Aries. This is big astrology. This is where it will then conjunct Neptune in next week. So we're paying attention to this and listening to the echoes of how this feels in our lives at this time. All right, let's get into the cards. Okay. I'm going to move this for now. What is this shadow descending, either like telling us or... Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm going to take this. Oh, there's another card underneath. Okay. It says, when we break bread in conversations with the past. Interesting. Put that there. All right, I'm going to pull for the week. Let's see. So Monday, Tuesday, what is the energy we can expect in our personal lives, Monday and Tuesday? I'm going to take this top card. We have strength. Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday. I'm getting a sense that the energy for Wednesday, Thursday is like still being sussed out in the heavens. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have the Three of Wands. Okay. I'm also going to pull another oracle card for, like, where do we need to have strength? How do we, all right, I'll come to this in a minute. I have something that's coming in pretty clearly for these two. So, where do we need to have strength? Oh, it's another title card. Where do we need to have strength? Wow, so interesting. Maybe it's just like general strength. Yeah, nothing wants to come, so I am actually going to skip it. Nothing, I don't have a question for this yet, but maybe like what do we have to look forward to? Because the Three of Wands is getting ready to move on to the next phase of our journey. All right. Wow, Serenity. Okay, so something is coming through. I am going to leave this without a card, but something is coming through for this regarding the Seven of Wands in the upright. Always makes me think of us defending ourselves in our position in some way. And in the reverse, it's telling me like surrender, but you know, what can we do instead of defending ourselves? What can we do instead of defending ourselves? Oh, okay. Move on. Move forward. Wow. Okay. Okay, so we're zoomed in. Here are our cards. I am going to throw a few charms just to see what wants to come up. All right. Let's see. There was just a marble here. This is so funny. Okay, where are you, marble? Oh, okay. Okay, so we have the marble, which I'll just leave there, I suppose. The bone. Okay, so marble's here. Marble was underneath when we break bread. And I talked about this marble last week because it was in last week's reading, I believe. And the marble makes me think of how layered life is, emotions are. And with when we break bread, there's a lot this week talking about peace in different ways. So you have when we break bread, which to me talks about like coming together, sharing a meal, sharing an experience. It's an offer of peace. We also have serenity here. So right now what I'm noticing in this card is the Aurora Borealis. So I can't help but wonder if this week we'll experience continued solar flares, which will have us seeing the Aurora Borealis again this week. There has been so much of that happening because the sun is really in a solar maximum, just giving off so much like off-gassing. This is so interesting. I'm being called to notice it right now. There is a solemnness, like a bowing that's happening to the Aurora Borealis. It makes me think of cycles. And something that's coming through right now is just the way that we experience this beautiful light in the dark. Like we couldn't see the Aurora Borealis during the day. It has to be nighttime. So interesting. As a message, when we break bread, yeah, there's something about just like pausing. There's, again, the word solemn really is coming in. There is a solemnness coming in. And I wonder if that's part of the descending darkness I was picking up on before pulling the cards. But with the marble, just talking about the layeredness of the situation that you're experiencing, the layeredness of emotions, the layers of ancestry, because on top of this, we have conversations with the past and we have the bone. And whenever I get the bone, it makes me think of the things that are bone deep, the thing that's in our ancestry, the epigenetics, right? Like a remembering of sorts. But remembering not just of our own past, but of the past even before that. Wow, so interesting. Such depth that this week available to us. And to me, with the break bread, it talks about making peace with the past, both with ourselves and with someone else, in order for us to perhaps move on, move forward. Ooh, interesting. Monday, Tuesday, we have the Strength card. And remember that nothing else wanted to come out with this. So this just says to me, just having general strength this week, being able to be both soft but strong, having boundaries without being too rigid. It is such a delicate balance. There's no fear here. Look at the way that this creature is staring right into the mouse's eyes and the mouse straight into the creature's when this creature could eat it, but this mouse knows it won't. There's curiosity here as well. Again, we have the darkness of the night. So in this shadowy period, this really speaks to early this week, making sure that we're really grounded, that we're really can come to terms with both the shadow and the light of life at this time and in our experience. Like if we're really going through it right now, being able to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that this is just part of growth and learning, to be able to look the beast, aka your challenges, in the eye, to be able to have the courage and not have fear of the outcome. There's a lot of trust that comes with strength. One last thing I want to notice about the Strength card is there's like three moths. And it is making me wonder, are there three people that are watching you, or are there three people affected by your experience? Are there three people or three business? I am getting person, so I'm actually not going to say anything else. There is three people that are like deeply affected by what you're moving through right now. And they're just watching, they're just witnesses, but drawn to the situation because of the light that's available here in the dark. So remembering in the beginning of the week to come to terms with the situation and accept both the shadow and the light and be able to move forward with your head strong, knowing that this is happening for you, not to you. Wednesday, Thursday, we had the Seven of Wands with moving forward. And Seven of Wands is, like I said earlier, a card of having to defend one's position. You know, the card before, the Six of Wands, is a success card. So whenever a Seven of Wands comes out, it's like someone is challenging you in some way. And you're having to, you know, this creature is standing on high ground, looking down on other people. There's an on defense energy to this with the wings expanded. The wind blowing this way. Moving forward, interesting. So again, in the reverse, it says two things. You were not able you were not able to find your like solid footing the beginning of the week, and now you're feeling shaken and potentially could get knocked off your pedestal, knocked off this like higher ground that you thought that you felt stable on. So again, emphasizing the importance of getting grounded in the beginning of the week, taking care of yourself at the beginning of the week. Because later in the week, you're up against something that really has you challenged. And because we have so much fire in the cards this week, we have so many wands cards, it does tell me that there will be some heated energy here. Yeah, there's like resentment in this energy. So if you're watching this and you catch it ahead of time, there is an invitation here that instead of defending yourself, how do you just move on? I'm hearing right now, cut your losses. Cut your losses. Because from this position, like you can't always win. You often can't win. Because even from a higher vantage point, a higher perspective, someone is going to either want your spot or someone's going to want like to challenge you. There's a reminder here that this is a slow process. And I do wonder if part of this is the Saturn moving into Aries is like, if you've been moving forward feeling like you're on top of your game, but you're trending towards burnout, the solution is a hard stop and to just move forward slowly at a way different pace than you have in the past. And again, they're moving towards this light, right? If we've been in this time of night, in this time of darkness, here comes the sunrise. And the reason why I say sunrise is because I look to later in the week and we have the 3 of Wands, and I still feel like this is a sunrise. And the reason is because the 3 is the beginning of the suit. It's still the rising till the culmination of the 10. And the 3 of Wands is looking forward to the future, right? So if we cut our losses, we realize that the thing we're fighting, we're never going to win against because we all think we're winners. So if we chose the high road, if we chose to move forward. Also, these snails are not on the ground moving forward. They are on a branch from a higher vantage point. So they're moving still from a higher vantage point, but now they're just moving on instead of staying static. There's a dynamic energy here. Because and then with the moving forward comes the 3 of Wands of where am I going next? What am I calling forward to me to help me move forward on this path? There's some fear involved. Look at the way that this dragon looks fearful, looks burnt out. How do I move forward? There is peace available. We talked about at the beginning of the reading with breaking bread. Look at the dark and the light. There is, again, balance required. We saw at the beginning of the week of balancing the dark and the light. This soft strength. Ooh, I love that for this. Soft strength. Because you might feel afraid, but there is just this other part of you that you have to dig deep for that says you're doing this in search of peace. You're doing this for the sake of peace. Both creatures have their wings out, vulnerable, open. Except this one seems more fearful, where this one, I see just again this soft strength. Something I love about swan energy is swans look so peaceful on the surface, but beneath their feet are working so hard. So it really talks about you can be doing this big hard work, but do it from a place of peace and grace and strength, soft strength. I'm going to keep saying it. Because choosing to move forward is the high road, is the right road. And if not, you'll find yourself in this cycle again. So you get to choose whether you want to repeat the cycle. But I get a sense that most of us are done repeating cycles and we're ready to move forward. This is, like I said in the beginning, the moving through the shadow, through the darkness, into the light. We know that we can do this big hard work. I know that you can move through this challenge. And maybe I'm just being called to say this last part. Maybe the key to moving through this challenge is really this coming to terms, coming to peace with this younger version of you, this like your ancestry, your lineage. Talking to your child self, letting your child self know, I've got you. I've got you. And not only will I give you what you never had, I will also find other people that can help you feel peace and safety as well. The final thing I'll say is there is a young energy this week, which makes me think of really tending to a young version of ourselves or the children in our lives. And there's also some vulnerability, a lot of vulnerability with like the way wings are held open. There's nudity, which makes me think of vulnerability. Yeah, this is what I'm seeing for us this week. Good luck. I don't want to say happy, but good luck with Saturn moving into Aries. It'll be an ongoing conversation as we move through the next 3 years of this time. February is a foundational month for how we experience. I think it's like the next 7 years. So really notice what's coming up for you this week. And yeah, I encourage you to take the time you deserve, to take the time you need to really get grounded and accept both the beast within and your softness within, and know that both coexist. You need both, the dark and the light. Thanks so much for being here. Good luck, and I'll see you on the other side.